Have you ever felt like life has knocked the wind out of you, like the ground beneath your feet suddenly gave way and you're just trying to breathe again? Maybe you've lost someone you love. Maybe a dream shattered right before your eyes. Or maybe your heart just feels heavy and tired for reasons you can't even explain. You smile for others, but deep inside, you're aching, searching for answers, wondering if you'll ever feel whole again. My friend, if that's you today, I want you to know this: you're not alone. God sees you even in the middle of your pain. He knows what you're going through, and He has a purpose for it, even if you can't see it right now. You see, pain is not something God wastes. The very thing that's breaking you right now could become the thing that builds you into the person He always created you to be. When life hurts, God isn't absent. He's working behind the scenes, turning your tears into testimony. The Bible says in Psalm 34-18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." That means even when you feel like you can't take another step, He's right there beside you, whispering, "Don't give up. I'm not finished with you yet." We often think that faith means everything will go smoothly, but the truth is, faith is trusting God even when nothing makes sense. You might be walking through a storm right now, but listen, every storm has an expiration date. Pain doesn't last forever, and the valley you're in today is not your final destination. You will walk through it, not die in it. God promises in Isaiah 43-2, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they will not sweep over you." Notice, He didn't say if you pass through the waters, He said when, because hard times are part of life. But He also promises that you won't go through them alone. He's your strength when you feel weak, your light when everything looks dark, and your anchor when life feels like it's drifting out of control. Sometimes God allows us to go through seasons of loss, heartbreak, or disappointment because He's preparing something greater on the other side. Think about it. A seed has to be buried in the darkness before it can grow. It's hidden, unseen, and surrounded by dirt, yet that's exactly where new life begins. In the same way, when you feel buried under problems, it's not over. It might just be the beginning of your breakthrough. God is using your pain to plant purpose deep inside you. You're not being buried, you're being planted. And in time, you will rise stronger, wiser, and closer to God than ever before. When you're going through something difficult, your first question might be, "Why God, why me?" But often the better question is, what are you trying to teach me through this? Because every struggle has a lesson, every pain carries wisdom, and every tear waters something beautiful that God is growing in your soul. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that the darkest moments actually led you to the brightest ones. God never wastes a hurt. The thing that once broke, you can become the thing He uses to heal others through your story. But let's be honest, when you're in the middle of the storm, it's hard to see any purpose. That's why you need to hold on to hope. Hope is what keeps you going when life doesn't make sense. Hope reminds you that God is still in control, even when you're not. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." Not some things, not most things, all things. That includes the pain, the loss, the confusion, everything. God can take what the enemy meant for harm and turn it into good. He can turn your mess into a message and your trial into a triumph. But you have to trust Him even when you can't trace Him. So, how do you get through what you're going through? You start by being honest with God. Tell him how you feel. You don't have to pretend to be strong. He already knows your heart. Cry out to him. Pour out your pain. God isn't offended by your honesty. He's moved by it. Then lean into his word. The Bible is full of promises that anchor you when life feels uncertain. Read his word like it's oxygen for your soul, because it is. And finally, surround yourself with people who will remind you of God's truth when you forget it yourself. You were never meant to go through life alone. Find a community of faith that will pray for you, encourage you, and walk with you through the valley. Remember this: God's silence is not his absence. Just because you don't feel him doesn't mean he's not working. Sometimes he's quiet because he's teaching you to trust, to wait, and to depend on him completely. The very place where you feel abandoned might be the exact place where God is building your faith. Every tear you've cried has been seen, every prayer whispered has been heard, and every broken piece of your heart is being held by the one who can make all things new. Maybe today you feel like you're hanging by a thread, but the good news is that thread is attached to God's hand, and he will never let you go. You may not understand the why right now, but one day you'll see that everything you went through was leading you somewhere. The same God who walked with Joseph in prison, who stood with Daniel in the lion's den, and who comforted David in the wilderness is walking with you right now, and he's not finished with your story. So take a deep breath, wipe your tears. You're going to make it through this. The night might be dark, but the dawn is coming. The pain may feel heavy, but joy is on the horizon. God hasn't forgotten you. He's preparing a comeback you never saw coming. When life gets too hard to stand, kneel. When it's too dark to see the way, trust that God is still lighting your path. You may not feel strong enough, but his strength is made perfect in your weakness. If you're listening to this today, let these words sink in. You're not broken beyond repair. You're not alone in your struggle. And this season you're in, it's not the end. It's just a chapter, not the whole story. Hold on, because God is still writing, and his plans for you are good. So don't give up, don't lose hope, keep trusting. Because one day soon, you'll look back and say, I didn't just go through it, I grew through it.